Okay, so and we have port 443 0.0.0, and with this we can basically create our instance. Launch instance. So we proceed without a key pair and proceed without key pair. Okay. Okay, so we have our EC2 instance running. And it is still trying to load. Okay, so let's try to connect to our instance. Connect, and EC2 instance connect, and let's connect through the browser. Okay, so this is our EC2 instance. Okay. Okay, so this is our EC2 instance. Okay, so let me clear this out. So this is basically where you're going to be putting all your code. And I'm basically going to just get this is a new line of code added to it, so you can just impute that, the Terraform provider part, and we have everything present. Like I said before, we have our region 1, we have the region 2, and the next thing we need to do is we need to create a new key pair in these two regions. So in the first region, we need to create a key pair, and we need to name it root server 2. Okay, so we'll need to go to the first region, which is in US East 1, to create our first key pair. Right, so let's create a new key pair, and we can call this key pair exactly the same name we give it here, which is root server 2 -london, and RSA and .pem also. So we create this key pair and it will automatically be downloaded. So the same thing we'll have to do again in the second region, which is Frankfurt. Okay. Okay, so this is it, EU Central 1. Okay, so in our key pair section, we're going to create a new key pair. And let's see if we can call it the same name as the one in the other region. Okay, so we have these two regions that are with their key pair, which is downloaded, and we know that the one that has the bracket 3 is for the Frankfurt region, that is the EU Central 1, and the one that has the bracket 2 is for the US East 1 region. So what I would now want to do now is to come over here to okay, so Tito Micro. Next thing we want to do is we want to check the AMI and make sure that the AMI is correct. So we have to come over to instances, Then we will have to launch an instance. Scrolling down to where we'll see the okay, so we have Ubuntu here. We're going to click on Ubuntu and try to compare the AMI ID if it's going to be the same. So this AMI ID basically ends with 36. So let's check ours, and it's the same thing, 36. So there's nothing we need to change here again. Okay. So with that said, the next thing we want to do is on our server that we have here that we created in the London region. So what we want to do is we want to install some certain tools like sudo install. Okay, we want to first update. Right, we want to update the system first. Then we want to install AWS CLI on this system so we can input our access key and secret access key. Okay, so we have installed this or have updated this.
Hello, boss.
Yeah,
Hello, sir.
yeah.
Can, can I do the same from VS Code, just like you are doing it on the AWS?
Can you do what exactly?
This running that you want to run it now,
On VS Code.
can I do it from the terminal? Yes, from the terminal on VS Code.
You can do it on Vagrant. I get what I'm saying. On maybe like Git Bash. You can run all this on
Yes.
Git Bash. So you can locate where the file
Yes,
is
when
right.
I've already when I've SSH into the Vagrant, right? Maybe into
Yeah, when
Forecast
you're like, yeah,
64, then
yeah,
I
yeah,
can do it there, right?
yeah. You can do all this inside either on
Okay.
the local machine
Okay.
or anywhere in the cloud. So we are going to be using this
All right.
installing the AWS CLI. Okay, so there is a particular blog that shows you how to get it installed, which we are going to check out now. Okay, so there was actually a mistake. It was supposed to be together. Sudo have to install AWS CLI. They are both together. Um, so we can just paste that here and run it. Why? Okay, so while this is still running, we need to come over here to our IAM user and we need to create a secret access and access key and secret access key that we're going to use to access all this. And we can do that going to the users on this same user that we are on, test user. We're going to click on it and we are going to scroll down where we have the security credentials. You click on that, scroll down, you have the access key. You can click on create access key. And now that we're on this section, you will click on this second one, local code, and tick this, then next. Then here you can decide to type anything inside, but we're not going to be doing that. And now it has brought out our access key and our secret access key, which I am just going to download the CSV file. And let's get back here to see how this is going. Okay, seems like we have something that's actually hanging. Um, okay, so I'm going to go back to the AC2 and try to relog in again. So connect and connect. Okay, so we have everything here. So let me type in AWS Figo to see if it is installed. Okay, so we have it installed already. So let me type that again and let me use the access key and secret access key we already created. So paste and the region we're going to be using here is going to be first one of all these regions that are here. So it's going to be the US East one. So we're going to copy that and we're going to paste it. And we're going to use this as JSON and enter. So we're going to clear this and we're going to type in AWS configure again to see if everything is where we set it. Okay, so clear. And now the next thing we want to do is we want to ls, we want to seed into our Terraform, we want to ls again, we want to seed into our Terraform modules, and we want to seed into our EC2. Okay, we haven't even installed Terraform yet. So the next thing we need to do is to install Terraform, and this same guide can help you do that. So the first thing, we'll just copy this first one.
Good evening, mentor.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, quick one, please. Are we supposed to install AWS CLI and Terraform on our system or inside our virtual machine?
You can do it any way. If you have a local machine running like Vagrant Ubuntu, you can run it there. You can install Terraform there. Or if you do not have, you can either do it on the cloud.
So that means we can run it from our, maybe when we open VS Code and Git batch on our system, in our local machine. It won't work like that.
You can run it through your system. I get what I'm saying, but not through your Windows system. Are you getting
Windows
it?
system, that's what I'm asking.
No, not through your Windows system. You cannot run it on your Windows machine. You have to run it on your what's it called? Your
Wow.
Vagrant
Oh,
machine. That's the Ubuntu, the Vagrant, the one that
now I
NVIDIA has
understand.
installed. Mm.
I've been fighting over it since morning on my system. Maybe that's why. Thank you.
Mm, you're welcome. Okay, so now that we have Terraform installed, we want to type in Terraform. So now we can see all the commands present to show that it is active, and we can now run this. Okay, let's see into this EC2 section. So now we can now run the Terraform init here, and we're basically initializing the AWS, and we're initializing the module that we created, which is showing here. And after this, we can now do Terraform apply, just like the command that we saw last week. Terraform apply dash var dash files equals to. So we're going to use that. Now we're going to set that equals to. Now if you come back here, you see that we have two tf files here, and the first one that we're going to be using, since we use this first region, we are going to be using the region -1.tf files. Okay. All right, and we're also going to set everything to auto-approve. Okay, so let's run this. Okay, for those of you that will be creating it on your, what's it called, on your local machine, you might run into like some delay and all this kind of thing, because you are using your the speed of how Terraform works depends on your system storage, your system RAM, and your internet what's it called, internet speed. So some of you might experience like a delay in it while it's running.
Yeah, but anyway, I think I understand, but I still love running it from that
Yeah,
VS Code and seeing that it's going.
yeah. But once
Yeah.
you start creating
Anyway,
like, yeah, with this video, I think I will go back. I will take the video, sit down, and try to run it from VS Code and see how I will go through. mm,
Because I actually succeeded in initializing the Vagrant init in that same folder. But it's just Vagrant apply. I did not know. I just wrote Vagrant apply and I click enter. That was why I run into error.
okay.
Yeah.
So while this is still creating, if we say we want to come to the US region, okay,
Hello, mentor.
yeah.
The region 1 dot tf verse 5 and the region 2. How are we going to link it to our EC2 and our VPC machine? Is it going to be in the same, once it is in the same folder, will it run automatically?
You
Or is there any
there's a
hard
particular way you
coding
run
that
it
we need
now.
to do?
There's a particular way you run it. That is what I showed you. Let me
I
scroll up a
missed.
little bit. So this is it. When you're running it, Terraform apply, then you select a particular variable file. Here there are two variable files. So that is the region 1.tfs and region 2.tfs. We are going to be running it in the US east one because that is what we assigned our AWS CLI to. So that's why we're selecting the region 1.tfs. then we're using the auto approve module also, so it doesn't ask us for yes, everything just runs automatically.
All right, thank you.
Okay, it's saying the AMI ID, let's see, 17D. Okay, it's saying it does not exist. Let's go back to our US East one and let's check out the AMI ID that is basically there. So launch instance, so let's select over Ubuntu. Okay, so it's a different AMI ID that is here. We are going to copy this, copy, and we are going to be adding it to this okay, so now that we have our AMI ID, what I'm going to do now is going to git status. Okay, we're going to do git add, then Terraform, then we're going to do git commit dash so we're going to do git push here.
It's actually supposed to be EU West 1 and EU Central 1.
Was it EU West one the question gave? Or US West the
Yeah,
question gave?
EU West,
Yes,
EU
EU
West
West
1
one
and
and EU Central one. That's what I just noticed.
Okay, so we change this also, EU West 1.
West one.
Okay, so we have to also change the AMI too. So let's go to EU West 1.
Baba, have you want to? Go and carry that cream and put it there and rub it on. Go and pick it before you lie down. Stand up, stand up, stand up. Pick it and bring it. Yes.
Okay, so if we select over Ubuntu, we can see the AMI ID present there.
Yes,
Okay, no
AWS.
wonder we're getting wrong source code. Okay, so with this, let's now
Calm down. Is this boy okay at all? Bring those hands. Bring your hand.
Daddy Caleb, abeg go help us o.
Oh, sorry, oh.
okay, so now that we've pushed this to GitHub, please when the call wants to end, you guys should just let me know so I can create another meeting. So now that I've pushed this to GitHub, next thing we want to do is we want to come back to our EC2 and do like a
Yeah,
git,
it's about to end actually.
okay, do like a git pull. Okay, I don't even know why this thing keeps hanging. Okay, um, let's cancel this and let's reconnect again. Okay, so let's clear and let's sit into Terraform. Okay, so let's clear this again and let's sit into our EC2. Um, so let's basically do git pull. Okay, so now that I've done git pull, we can cut the content of our Terraform region 1, and everything has changed, so we can clear this and we can do our Terraform apply, then dash var dash file equals to what's the var file, which is region 1. .tfs. Then we have our dash dash auto dash approve. Okay, so we need to change our AWS configure, and we'll need to change this to EU West 1. So we can now rerun this again.
Sorry.
Okay, so the keeper also is not found. So let's basically try doing okay, so let's see if we can delete what we have created. um so let's basically delete what we created before. Let me try to push this because that's the first thing we're supposed to do. Git add Terraform git commit.
Hello, mentor. Are we not supposed to finish with the Terraform before pushing it to Git?
No, this I'm trying to delete the other resource that was created in US is one before we move to this other region. That is the first thing we're supposed to do. So git pull and let's now cut the content in our main or in our region. Okay, US is one and the so let's now delete this content. Okay, okay, so I'm going to end this call and create another one. Okay, okay, so going back here, the next thing we need to do here is I'll need to change the AWS configure to the EU West one. And now that we have everything present here. I also need to do git pull also to make sure everything is updated. And if I do this cat, we have our EU West one and the valid AMI ID. So now let's go to our EU West one, which is Ireland. And we now want to create a what's it called, a key pair that matches this name that we created here, root server to London. So we're going to create a key pair and we're going to paste that key pair and create. So now we know that the third key pair that's going to be created here, the one with the bracket 4, is for the E West 1. So let's come back to the screen. And now that we have everything present, we can now run our Terraform apply. Okay, so Terraform apply, we can run this. Okay. Okay, so if we come to the EC2 dashboard, okay, so it says here that 9 added. So let's basically check. So now that we're in this same region, we can see our instance. Let's go to what other resource did we create? We created the, did we create a security group? I'm guessing so. Okay, so we created a security group and you can see it here. We also created a so that's basically everything here. And if we go to the, let's try to see if we can launch the instance. Okay, so it installed Docker for us, and if we check if the Docker container is present, we can do something like Docker. Okay, so sudo Docker yes. Okay, so basically what happened here is it's just installed Docker. It didn't run the whole command for us. So looking at the EC2, it installed Docker, it started Docker, but it wasn't able to pull this Docker image. Okay, so let's try running. Oh, I can see the problem now. We didn't use sudo in front of this, so we'll need to add sudo docker pull and sudo docker run dash dit blah blah blah. Then if we come back here, we will also need to destroy this image that we ran. So the same command, Terraform just makes everything easier. Destroy, so we can automatically destroy that while we are still going to do a git add.
Hello, mentor. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Monday class, Conrad said we should just install Docker and Ansible, that we don't need to create anything. That is just the installation.
Okay, I'm guessing you guys can do that now. Abi, just
Yes, yes.
installation. uh so this is just for this class. Let's just focus on this one for this class. If it works, we can continue. So git commit dash then okay, so we can do something like git push. And now that I've destroyed all the resources, if I reload or come back here, and if I reload, okay, it's terminated already. So let's try to do something like a git pull here. Okay, so we can now basically run this again and basically see what we get. it, the instance is already created, so we can see it here pending. Okay, so it has been created. Let's now basically see if it works now. So we can connect to it and connect. Okay, so now that we have connected, we want to do like a sudo docker ps. Okay, so let's do sudo docker image ls. Okay, so we're still having the same issue. Okay, and we are not still seeing any container. Okay, so let me now try running this manually, the sudo docker pull. Let's see. Okay, so this is basically where the issue is from. Okay, so it's basically like a Docker issue. We can't pull from it because it seems like the repository is kind of private. Okay, so with this you can, okay, let's see if you can pull another since they said you guys should not use Docker Ansible. Let's see if we can pull okay, so it was possible for us to pull Alpine. It was possible for us to pull Alpine, so we can use Alpine to run to check if the whole process works, because sometimes user data has some issues, and we can do something like that, and we can change the container name to Alpine, and we can also change the this thing that we're running to Alpine. Okay, so let's basically try to run this again, but before we run it, let's cancel this out and cancel this out too. Okay, so let's do Terraform destroy. Okay, and this is hanging again, so we just need to open a new one. Connect, then connect. Okay, so we can set it into Terraform, then set it into Terraform modules, then ls. We can set it into EC2. Then we can do like a Terraform destroy, then dash var dash file is going to be equals to region dash one dot tfvars. Then we're also going to be setting the dash dash auto dash approve. Okay, so while this is destroying, we want to come over here to push this. So we want to do git add, then Terraform module, then we want to do git commit dash and we want to add the what's it called, the new line that we had. And next thing we want to do is we want to git push. Okay, so now this is destroyed. If you come over to our instance here and we reload this, you can say it's terminated, and we can basically come back here to do something like git pull, and it has basically pulled all our files. And now we can now do like a git Terraform apply rather, and we can apply every single change that we made. So if you just want to just install Ansible, you know how to install Ansible now. Sudo apt install Ansible and sudo apt install Docker. We're already installing Docker here, so you might not need that. So you can just do the one for Ansible. Okay, so while this is still running, please give me a minute. Okay, okay, so now it's everything has run successfully, and if you reload again, you can see our instance is running, and we can check and connect to the instance. Okay, so we can do something like sudo docker image ls, and the alpine is installed. We can do the same thing for sudo docker ps. Okay, so the container isn't running, but the image was pulled. Okay, so the whole explanation basically just gives you the whole point. You can basically reuse every other thing there for installing just Ansible and Docker, since you guys were told that you should, or you can basically just use that. I don't know, is there any question so far? Does anybody has any question?
Hello, mentor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for now, the for region one, that means we'll be having development and production in region one, then development and production in region two as well. That means we'll be having two VPC to install.
Yes. Yes, so we'll get to that very soon. I'll basically
Okay.
show you guys how to. So back to the Docker, we basically can see the Alpine image or the container present here. So the container was still created, but it was not running presently. So because we're not running anything in the container. So with this, now we're going to make a change to this VS Code file. And you guys said it was Docker and Ansible, right? So we can do sudo apt-get Ansible, then -y. So this can install Ansible. So we're going to be deleting these two lines here, since it's not going to be needed. Okay, so now that we have Ansible and we have Docker, we can now come back here and let's delete this, and we can basically delete all this with the sudo destroy. And now next thing we want to do is we want to push this. Okay, so now that we're deleting all this, okay, so we can now focus on this new one that we have created. That's this what's it called, the Docker and the Ansible that we're installing. So let's close this and focus on the regions now. So we're going to be placing it in these two regions, EU West 1 and the second other region that we created. So we're going to do a git pull. Okay, and we can now do a Terraform apply dash var dash okay. Okay, so we now have this, everything is running presently. If we click on this and we decide to connect to it, also you can use your key pair, the key pair that you created for that particular region, you can use it to SSH into it. This is way faster. So if we ls and we do Docker, okay. Okay, so none of them were installed, not even Docker or Ansible. like the command did not run finish. So our Docker is installed, our Ansible, okay, okay. So we'll have to like wait for a while before we test Ansible.
Ah, kilo day.
Okay, it's still initializing. Let's wait a little bit before we check for Ansible. And that's one issue with user data. When you use user data to run a particular command on an existing machine, sometimes it might work, sometimes it might not work. So, because everything is still trying to run automatically while the system is still trying to boot up. Okay, so now let's check it again. Okay, so Ansible was not installed. Okay, so Ansible wasn't installed on this machine. So we can just go over the same. So we tried to run it the last time, then we'll basically move to the second region. So now the one issue that we're basically going to have with this second region is this. Since everything or the two regions are basically in one file, you get what I'm saying? There is going to be like a state file that is going to be created, a Terraform state file. And since these two regions are here, the problem is once you run the same command on another region, you are going to be having issues with the state file. Meaning that imagine you run the Terraform apply on the EU West one, I get what I'm saying, and it creates everything, the VPC and everything. And you run the same command again for the EU West 2, and it creates everything again. So the issue here is you won't be able to delete what you have created in this region, which is a problem. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be copying this particular file or this particular directory, right, to the same home directory, and we're going to be running it from that particular directory. So let's just see how that works. So I'm going to do the Terraform apply again. Okay, we're just going to wait until this initializing, until it stops initializing actually. So how many minutes do we have? 30 minutes. Okay. So now what we're going to do to run the second region is we're going to cd dot dot right ls, and we're going to cd again dot dot, and we are going to ls here. And what we're going to do, we're going to copy this Terraform modules into the root directory. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to copy it into the root directory. Okay, so I'm supposed to specify a -r. So now that I've copied it, okay, so we have the Terraform modules here. Now there are two folders, so there's Terraform modules and there's the Terraform. So let's cd it back into the Terraform. Okay, so this is where we have all our, okay, this is still initializing. Taking a lot of time because the user data is still running those commands. Okay, so it's running already. Let's check if it was created. So if you do docker, you can see the docker command. If you do Ansible, you can see the Ansible command also. So the docker and Ansible were installed on the machine. So it works now perfectly well. And we are going to basically do the same thing for our other region. So we're going to do cd dot dot or cd into tilde, right? And ls. Now if you see these two directories here, this is the Terraform directory, and this is the other directory. So we're going to rename this directory to Frankfurt. So let's change the name of Terraform. Okay. So let's seed into the Frankfurt that we created, and let's seed into our EC2. Now, what I would advise you to have done before you run anything is, once you have cloned this repository, you should copy the Terraform dash modules first, so that you don't get this what's it called, this tf state and terraform.tf state.backup. You don't get those two files, right? Because now these are the tf states of the previous commands that we ran, so we're going to be deleting it. Okay, so if we do ls again, we don't see it here, so we're going to do something like aws configure, and we're going to be changing the region to the EU central one, right? And we are also going to be since it's the TF vars, the second TF vars we're going to be running. What we're going to do now is we're going to do Terraform, the normal Terraform command. Okay, so but now we're going to be changing this region 1 to region 2, and we are going to run this. So let's open our Frankfurt region. So we're going to be going to Frankfurt. Okay, so this is already creating, it's still pending in this region. Um, okay, so now it is running, but it is still initializing. So since we have already run this first region and everything works automatically well, what we want to do now is we want to delete it, right? We want to delete it, so we can do we can go back to that region, so we can do cd tilde and ls, and we can cd into so let's just remove this, the Terraform modules that we created here. So if we do ls, we can now cd into Terraform, which is for the first region that we created, and we can cd into Terraform, and we can cd into EC2, and we can do the Terraform destroy here. That's to destroy everything in this region. So not in the region 2, so we have to change the region also that is here to region 1. And notice that we didn't change the AWS configure, the region in the AWS configure. So we want to basically test if this is going to work, right, without changing the regions. So we're going to run this, and we'll come over here to our EU West 1, okay, and it is basically working. So now you know that you don't need to be changing the regions in the AWS configure or in the AWS CLI often, right? You can just put a particular region there and you can run it effortlessly and it will still work. So now everything is destroyed, and if you come to this our region and reload this, we can now see it's terminated. So you don't basically need to change anything in the AWS configure or AWS CLI, or yeah, you don't need to change the region. So this is still loading, as we can see. Okay, so now it is working perfectly well. So let's open this in the Frankfurt region. And if we do Docker, we have Docker. If we do Ansible, we have Ansible created too. So that's basically all for this um, assignment. So what we can do now is we can go back to our previous region, our previous directory. So we can do cd into tilde and cd into so we can now do cd into the Terraform. Okay, let's do this. We can do cd into EC2, and we can now destroy this. And we'll have to change this to region 2, not region 1, and enter, and automatically everything will automatically destroy. Now if you do not want to be jumping from, I'm guessing there's still a way you can isolate each region to work with this same module. So if you do not want to be jumping from region to region, you can basically, or from directory to directory, you can basically just find a way to, what's it called, to isolate each region so that when the TF file is created, right, or you can just create this first variable file in this first region. I get what I'm saying. So this present region now, this EC2 Ansible Docker, you can call it region 1, this whole directory, and you can create an exact same directory again, and you can call that region 2. But now you have to move this region 2 TF file into that directory. I get what I'm saying. So that way it can also work to isolate your your Terraform state files so that you do not get any mix-up or anything. So with that, okay, so this is destroyed too. So if we reload this, okay, and if we reload this, yeah, everything is basically destroyed. Okay, so everything is destroyed, and we can also come to the VPC to check. Down here in the VPC, the same thing here, we can also come to the VPC to see if there are still any resources that are still created. Okay, So with everything that's basically taking place, at the end of the day, you can now decide to destroy this your machine that you're basically using to the main host that you're using to run every Terraform command. So we can see our VPC, we have one VPC here, which is going to be the default. If you open our internet gateway, we have one internet gateway here, which is attached to the default VPC. So it's not the one we created. Um, so basically everything has been destroyed using Terraform. So we can cancel this region, and same thing for this region, one VPC, one internet gateway, which is also going to be attached to the internet gateway, to the default internet gateway, if we should check, right? And if you see this, this is going to be default, right? So everything has been destroyed here also. So with that said, this is going to be the end of this class, and I hope you all understood it. If you have any question, please you can unmute your mic and ask your question.
So, hello, mentor.
Yeah.
Yeah, where I'm confused is just from for region one dot CFVAS.
Okay.
How are we going to place both dev and production together in that region and on it?
I don't understand. In what region?
This region one now,
Uh-huh.
we are supposed to have two both development and production in it.
No, no, no. The question basically said that the production and development should be between the region 1 and the region 2, which is in this case EU West 1 and EU Central 1. So one environment should be in the EU West 1, which in this case we are giving it the environment of dev, right? And in the EU Central 1, we are giving it the environment of production. Do you
Okay,
understand now?
okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Is there any other question? Yeah, please unmute your mic.
Sorry, mentor. My VS Code.
Okay.
If I'm typing the commands, it doesn't highlight like the normal thing. It's just as if I wrote. I'm writing it without showing all those color and everything.
All this.
I don't know what's happened or what I
Is
can
it
do.
this
Yes,
color?
yes,
Is the name of your file .tf?
yes. .tf main.tf, and I've created all those what do they call themselves?
Okay, that's
All those modes
on the VS Code when you're typing it.
on the VS Code. Yes.
Sorry, Teddy. I think what he's missing is I think they call it is it an extension, something like that on his VS Code,
Yeah,
and
you have
a
to.
Terraform extension. So you should download it. You get the colors.
Okay, I should download the extensions, right?
Yeah, download it. You get the colors. I had the same problem.
You can check YouTube or Google for the solution or for the name
I
of
was
the
trying to even
files.
look at what I will use to check Google, really. And what topic will I use to check Google?
Are you talking about the extension?
Yes, I'm talking about the extension. So I'll just go and
Just go to VS Code. You see by the side. You see where they wrote extensions. Just on the sidebar where you see your files and all those things. Just you see one of those icons there, the extension. Just click on it and search for Terraform. You'd see it there.
okay. Thanks.
Okay, so we're going to be deleting this instance also. Um, Action instance state. I'm terminating the instance. Terminate. Okay, so now that I've deleted the instance and everything is deleted also, So you can go to the EC2 dashboard and yeah, everything is perfect. So with that, that is going to be the end of this class. Since there is no other question, if you have any other question, just unmute your mic and you can speak.
We appreciate if you can help us send the recording
Yeah,
tonight.
definitely. Okay, so since there is no other question, this is going to be the end of this class. If you have any question, you can drop it in the mastermind. Okay, yeah.